Coming up in this week's show, we find out whether a 2012 Isuzu Bakkie is a good used buy.
We explore vehicles suitable for towing needs.
And we discuss the long-term ownership prospects of an Audi A3.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And here to help us this week are Shane Assad from Velocity X and Teminkosi Pansi, co-founder and MD at Avari Cars. Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to have you in studio.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks
guys.
for joining us, guys.
Busy days and nice of you to join us here. Now remember, if you'd like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za, or you can pop us a DM on Instagram @ignitiontv. And please give us as much information as possible, including a nice picture of yourself. Now we're going to kick off things with a question from 35-year-old Ntembeni, who hails from Durban. He's considering purchasing a 2012 Isuzu with, it's got over 400,000 Ks on the clock. The vehicle is in great condition, but his main concern is the high mileage. Is this a good used buy for 100,000 Rand, Teminkosi?
Yeah, no, thank you. It is a good buy for that kind of budget.
Yeah.
And it's a 2012. I always have a question, when you say the car's got high mileage, compared to what? I mean, if you look at this Isuzu that he wants to buy, first of all, he knows the owner, the car has been serviced regularly.
Yeah.
At the dealership.
At the dealership. And
Only
that is why
at the
car,
dealership,
this is why the car is lasting for so long. If you look at the 400,000 Ks it has done in, 13 years or so, that's like 30,000 Ks on average a year. And this is a Bakkie, so a Bakkie have to work. So for 100,000 Rand, for me, my opinion, it is a good buy for an Isuzu. It means that this car is well looked after and it can still do the mileage. And we always say in this show, if you maintain your vehicle and you service it, it will last longer.
Yeah. Shane, do you agree with that?
100%. I mean, if anything, maybe the only thing I would do is shorten the service intervals if you need to. But growing up, my dad had one of those. I mean, the thing went on forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it probably had less mileage than this. So, I mean, hypothetically, as you always say, the engine's just run in. I think, really good deal.
Yeah, look, Isuzu are known for good, reliable engines. 400,000 Ks on any car, though, is fairly high mileage. But then if you look at the price, 100,000 Rand, you don't buy much for a one-ton Bakkie for 100,000 Rand.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
also not for brand like this one.
Yeah.
As we said, it's a strong brand, solid brand that's doing very, very well in the market
Yeah.
right now. So you won't have issues with parts and all of that. We always talk about after sales on this show. Just make sure that whatever you buy, you are covered when it comes to after sales. And for Isuzu D-Tech 2012, 400,000 Ks is probably nothing.
I mean, if you think about it, even if the engine blows up in 3-4 months' time and you buy a second-hand engine for 40,000-50,000 Rand and put it in there, 150,000 Rand.
Nah, I don't think it'll blow up, eh?
No, but I'm just saying,
I don't think it'll blow up. What I want to point out is it was serviced exclusively at the dealership.
Exclusively.
So every little problem that they had discovered would have got repaired.
100%.
So, and if he knows the owner as well as he claims he knows his owner, and he loved the car, I can tell you now, if the dealership phoned the owner and said, I need this repaired, replaced, you need this replaced, he'd say, go for it.
100%.
So this vehicle is probably in the better condition than vehicles with half that mileage.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I agree, guys. He should just buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next viewer is 45-year-old Owen from Johannesburg. He wants a reliable automatic car for his daughter in Cape Town. With a 190,000 Rand budget, he's unsure whether to pay cash or finance the car. He's also weighing the costs of transporting the vehicle from Johannesburg versus buying it in Cape Town. Which vehicle would suit his daughter's needs best? Shane?
I mean, it's a very good question. I think determining whether you buy the car in Cape Town or Joburg is just whether or not you're worried about corrosion or things like that. It is going to cost about 5 grand if you put it on a truck anyways to take it to Cape Town. So if you can find something in Cape Town, good idea. You're not going to get anything new, but for 190 grand you can get a few good reliable cars. I would, if she's going to be keeping it for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I would recommend maybe go for a manual. Just less moving parts, less worry about reliability or anything going wrong.
She's only got an automatic license.
Yeah, no, look, I would try get a Suzuki Swift. That's what I would try.
Problem is it's got an AMT box in it. And that is the problem. And the Suzuki Swift AMT box, you don't like it at all, wears out its clutches, and if the gearbox control unit fails, there's no parts for it. You have to spend 60,000 Rand to get it going. So don't even buy one of those. The rest of the car's cool. There are a lot of other cars in that sort of segment. I would say in this sort of price range, the best little car that you could buy would be a Honda Jazz. Find yourself a Honda Jazz. You'll find lots in that sort of price range. They're going to be a bit older, but if it's got 150,000 Ks on it, it'll do another 300,000 Ks. And student cars don't go a long way. And remember the kind of people that drive Honda Jazzes. It's not Shane who wants to drive a Porsche.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a Honda and it drove forever. It
Yeah, no,
literally
they're solid.
went to 250,000 Ks. That engine is solid.
Yeah.
And it's not a high-risk car.
Yeah,
No, it's
so
It's not a high. Yet, if I wanted to target a car, that would be the car I'd want.
yeah, I mean,
Because it's bulletproof,
yeah, very reliable,
very reliable.
very easy to drive, very reliable. I mean, if you buy it in Cape Town or Joburg, it doesn't matter. She can drive it home. You'd be happy that she could drive it all the way from Cape Town to Joburg and not be safe. Another one I'll throw in there, also Japanese, Mazda 2.
Correct. Yeah.
Your-
I had Mazda 2 in my head. If you throw in a Mazda 2 in there, also another solid brand. And I never had any issues with that automatic gearbox of that
Yeah.
vehicle, similar to the Honda.
Yeah.
And yeah, get a nice easy Mazda or a Honda Jazz. I mean, for the 190,000, you might find that you might get a car for 160, 170,000 in good condition,
Yeah.
good mileage. You don't have to go like fairly new car for as long as the vehicle has been fully serviced. Track record is there, and then you're good to go. As Shane have mentioned, doesn't matter where you buy the car. I mean, I just delivered the car in P over the weekend, you know,
Yeah.
and it just costed me 2,800 rand to deliver a car in
Yeah.
P. So it doesn't matter where you buy the car.
The thing with the Jazz as well is generally there's quite a few of them to choose from that are fairly low mileage, because a lot of Jazzes get driven by, I don't want to say senior citizens, but you know, elder people, and they don't drive it a lot.
More matured people.
That's it. Like myself. You know, a couple of others you can throw in there. Picanto, also not bad. Honda, the i10, the Suzuki Celerio, and the i20 and Kia Rio, also a couple of other bunch. But I think the best two in that price range you're looking at, and also for a student car, bulletproof reliability. You've got a daughter in your car, you want something that's not going to break on and the two best in that segment is the Honda Jazz and the Mazda 2. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay, stay tuned because after the break we find an ideal replacement for an older Ford Fiesta.
And we explore vehicles suitable for towing needs. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you've just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Kusta owns a fully paid-off 2019 Ford Fiesta with 150,000 kilometers on the clock. With a growing family, he's considering an upgrade with more space. He's torn between keeping his Fiesta or trading it in for a Suzuki Fronx, Honda BRV, or VW Caddy Maxi. With a maximum budget of 350,000 Rand, he seeks advice on the best choice. Kevin Kos?
Best choice is the Honda. Again, a reliable vehicle. Looking at the 2024, the BRV, you can even get a Comfort instead of a Trent Auto with 360,000. Negotiate the price you back to 350.
Yeah.
That's one. And also looking at his Fiesta, he said he doesn't know if he must keep the Fiesta or trade it in. The mere fact that you want to change a car, you want a bigger vehicle, then you might as well get it for the other one. If, let's say, you don't have a daughter that is going to varsity and all of that. And those Ford Fiestas are doing quite well. I think trade on that vehicle is about 192,000. So you should get, with that mileage, fully serviced, you should get about 150, 160.
He just wants a fully paid-off car parked in his garage.
No, but then,
So he can say,
No.
I got a fully paid-off car.
yeah, okay. If that's the case, then he's got this fully paid vehicle, all right, the Fiesta. Then sell the Fiesta, get the money, and then find another money wherever, and then you buy the Honda BRV cash.
And I would put him in the Fronx, but that's just my...
He says the boot's too small.
The boot is too, yeah, that's what he
Shane,
said.
what did you look at here?
I also probably would have gone for the Fronx, but if he's looking for something bigger, the Fronx isn't that much of a bigger upgrade. The Honda really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment I see a Honda BRV, immediately, no offense to him, but I think mummy van. It
Yeah.
will handle
Yes,
everything.
yes.
7-seater,
Exactly.
7-seater.
and you can fold the seats down to have a little bit.
Exactly.
Some other vehicles that I would look at as well. I like the BRV. I think it's great vehicle. And any of you watching the show regularly know I'm a Honda fan because they really make good cars. It is a bit bland, but if you look at some of the Chinese product as well, now the entry-level Chery Tiggo 4, you can buy in a basic 1.5 non-turbo with a manual gearbox, 289 I think it is, or 279, somewhere around there. So it's below your 300,000 Rand budget. And then, of course, you've got the new MG that's just come out. And the MG, I can't remember if it's a HS or V, or
It'll be the ZS.
ZS.
1.5 NA.
little 1.5 engine in there. I must say, I actually hired one in the UK and drove it around, did about 2,000 Ks in it. It was actually, went nice, it had space in it.
When these so-called Chinese vehicles, I shouldn't say so-called, but these Chinese vehicles start failing dismally, they're going to call into the show and say, but you guys recommended it.
Well,
No, I'm just being a devil's advocate here.
No, for sure.
But
If you look at the way the market is right now, right? Everyone is, not everyone, but I'll say
Most people are heading that direction, yes.
Are switching to
Yes,
that direction.
yes.
At the end of the day, it doesn't help for us to say, no, don't buy the Chinese brand because we don't know what's going to happen. It's like any other brand that comes
remember in
into
the
the country.
70s when they said, what are these funny cars coming out here called Toyotas?
Right.
Never buy them?
Look at them now. They're number one selling brand in the country. So it doesn't help for people to say, no, we can't recommend the Chinese. They are here and people are buying them. The last thing we want is to sit on this show and not recommend the cars that are coming at a good price in this country. They're reliable and they've got extended warranties and the like. So honestly,
that's how the fight started.
Yeah.
My only concern, and it needs to be discussed when you come to Chinese vehicles, is there is, as somebody who owns a workshop and repairs cars, there's no information on these vehicles. If, for argument's sake, I have a Mercedes, a BMW, a Porsche, Toyota, whatever, and I have an issue with it, I'm not too sure how to fix it. You can phone up a dealership, or you can Google it, and you'll find somebody in Outer Mongolia that said, okay, this is how you look at it, this is the problem, and this is how you fix it. There's a massive amount of information. But when Chinese cars, we all know that you can't access Google in China.
Yeah.
So all that information, you're not going to be able to get that information. And being that the vehicles are all new now, even the techs that work at Chery or work at Haval or Jetour or Modo, whoever it is, when there's a failure part, so let's for argument's sake say a gearbox fails, they ain't going to fix that gearbox. They're going to take it out, under warranty, put a new one in, move on. What was wrong? I don't know. We just put another one in. And
what happens when that car's out of warranty?
When it becomes out of warranty, and then you need to try and find, as a aftermarket workshop, you need to try and find out information on how to repair these. That is going to be a bit of an issue.
So just two things for me on the Chinese cars is number one, so for example, if you look at the Cherys, the Tiggo 4, 7 and 8, they have the 1 million kilometer engine warranty that's only valid for the first owner. So now, I personally don't know anyone who's bought one that has reached that yet, but I know they've brought out a Tiggo 4 panel van. So whatever fleet companies buy into the panel van will see how long or how the reliability really is.
How effective that warranty is.
The warranty is, number one. And number two, I've driven a lot of the Chinese cars, and all of them, for me, it feels like they're literally made within the same factory.
100%.
They all have the 1.5 turbo with the 7-speed DCT.
Yeah.
But for me, personally speaking, it gets to a point where some of them, I'm not going to mention the brands, but some of them get to a point where you drive these cars and they don't feel safe to drive. The communication between the throttle pedal, or the accelerator pedal, and the gearbox is so delayed.
The calibration,
The calibration, so if I want to overtake a truck, and it takes 3 seconds for this car to realize that it's not a dishwasher and it's a car that it needs to overtake, it's too late.
Yeah.
I've had a few situations where I was stuck in an intersection. The robot has officially changed. I put my foot down and I'm sitting there waiting, and then the wheels spin and then I fly off.
Yeah, it's either all or nothing. Okay, we're going to wrap that up because we're going to be all day discussing the things that may or may not happen. Right, moving on. Jason drives a 2016 Grand Vitara, got 180,000 Ks on it, and he commutes 115 kilometers daily, resulting in high fuel costs. He needs a capable 4x4 for towing his camping trailer, and he's torn between two options: trading his Grand Vitara for a nearly new 4x4 double cab from, say, Toyota, Isuzu, Mitsubishi, or keeping it and purchasing a new Suzuki Swift GLX for the daily use. And he seeks the best solution for both efficiency and practicality. So does he
Guys,
keep the Suzuki Vitara, buy a Bucky, buy a Swift?
let's buy a 4x4, which will give me better fuel consumption than my Suzuki Vitara.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, gentlemen?
No.
Does that make sense to you, Shane?
It depends what he needs it for, personally speaking. I find some of the diesel engines are a lot lighter on fuel. But I wouldn't opt for a Hilux. It's not going to last. It's not going to be in the driveway for long.
If I was him, I would keep my Grand Vitara and then go and buy, as you said, a
GLX for runaround?
for runaround. Because he doesn't complain that this car can't tow and all of that, and he still needs it for holidays to travel with the family.
You just keep that as like your third vehicle.
100%.
And use that for the holidays.
And we know how Suzukis are and what's happening in the market with the Suzukis right now. So keep your amazing, fantastic Vitara and then get yourself a Swift for a runaround. Clearly, he's got his heart with the Suzuki, which is
Look, the Grand Vitara it's a 2.4. It's not a bad vehicle, but they are heavy on juice.
Yeah.
But if you buy a modern day 4x4, you're looking at spending, I would say 400,000 Rand plus. And that's talking about a second-hand, decent 4x4 diesel. Average fuel consumption on most of them runs around the 10 to 12 litres per 100.
Yeah.
That's realistically on those vehicles.
Yeah.
So if you bought a Suzuki Swift, you're going to get an average of most probably 5.5 to 6 litres on your daily drive. So that's about half the fuel consumption of that of a bigger diesel 4x4. So you're going to make a savings on your fuel there, and the vehicle is going to be cheaper, and keep your Suzuki
Keep the rest of the money for
Vitara
putting-
when you want to go
Yeah.
away on holiday, because maybe what do you use it? Once or twice a year, or if you're lucky, 2 or 3 times a year. So go for the Swift.
We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we explore whether a second-hand Toyota Corolla needs a transmission fluid change.
And we discuss the long-term ownership prospects of an Audi A3. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Up next, we have a question from Piwe. His mother owns a second-hand Toyota Corolla approaching 117,000 Ks. He handles the car's maintenance himself and recently inspected the transmission fluid, noting that it remains pink, as if it was factory fresh. He's unsure whether to change the fluid now or wait for it to darken or follow a specific mileage interval. His mother plans to keep the car long-term and wants to ensure the best approach for its longevity. Shane, have you got a feeling on this?
To be honest, this is a little bit foreign to me. I've never actually been, funny enough, driven a Toyota Corolla. So my question is quite simply, what are the service intervals for the car? But also, with 117,000 Ks, it's not too bad. I've always seen a lot of Toyota Corollas being used for Ubers or whatever the case is. 250,000 to 400,000 kilometers. They're still running. They're still happy. I think just maybe shorten the service intervals. The car will look after you.
Now, in terms of the gearbox oil, so with Corollas, it depends on which Corolla it is. So some of them had a CVT gearbox and some of them had an automatic gearbox. So depending on what gearbox oil is in there, what I would recommend is you change the oil every 60,000 kilometers. You're getting to 120, change the oil. But if you're not too sure what oil it is, go to a Toyota dealer, buy the oil from a Toyota dealer with the VIN number so you get the correct oil. Because what often happens is people see, oh, it's pink oil, cool. Like you said, it's
I
pink.
hope he's got the color right. Because
No,
with
and then he
CVT
goes
gearbox-
to the local spare shop and says, I need automatic gearbox oil, and they give him the wrong stuff.
Exactly.
And the gearbox can be very, very expensive.
Yeah,
And here's another problem here. I don't know what Pure's qualifications are. Pure is maintaining this car himself, so meaning that he's servicing and doing everything himself in this vehicle. And guess what? If you are not a mechanic and qualified and everything, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to get it wrong.
well, mechanics make mistakes too.
No.
ask
I know
Adam.
that, but then it's
All the
a qualified someone, right? And for him to say he's maintaining the car himself, for me, that's also alarming in terms of the question that.
Look,
he's
you know,
asking.
there are certain cars you can maintain yourself. A blind man could fix a Corolla. That's how simple.
You know what, guys? Just coming back to his gearbox.
You see,
Coming back
that's
to
why we
his
get cars
gearbox
under
problem.
under trees and everything else, and people get into accident because someone thought that no, I know how to maintain a car.
Yeah.
If
No,
you're
you
sick,
make
if
a
you're
good
sick, you
point.
go to the doctor.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay,
Google
I'm
it.
done.
He talks from experience. And,
No,
and
hold
typically,
on, guys.
You're
Just hold
quite
on.
right.
Going back to this gearbox problem, or gear changing the fluid, I'm just hoping he's got the color right. Because on the Toyotas, and whichever Toyota it is, with the CVT gearbox, the color of the oil is purple
You see,
and not pink. If he doesn't know his colors,
see.
and then if it's a CVT gearbox,
Could be a pinky purple.
there's there's a sequence in which to change that oil.
right?
You can't just drain the oil out
Then
and
we
top
pour
up
another
with it.
one.
No. So, you know, like you said, if you
I gave my
sick, you
I
go
gave
to
my
the
advice.
doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, make sure if you're going to do it yourself, find out the process, change the oil yourself, get the correct oil grade for it. Because nowadays, a lot of modern automatic gearboxes take different kinds of oils. You can't put CVT oil in a
Automatic
gearbox. Although there are some oil manufacturers now that are coming out that are bringing out an oil which is interchangeable between the two.
Universal, yeah.
But you don't want to take that chance. Rather get the correct oil and change it. It will not do any harm, so it may just do good.
And finally, Tabang drives a well-maintained 2017 Audi A3 S-tronic with 105,000 kilometers. It's covered by an extended warranty and service plan. It has never had any issues. He wants to keep it for another 5 to 7 years, but worries about potential age-related problems, like Adam has. He seeks advice on long-term reliability. Tell of course, you were in this
Yeah,
in this
in
brand.
the Audi brand.
Yes.
Yeah, look, if you look at the year model of this car and the mileage is good. That's number one, meaning that they don't abuse the car, it's not driven a lot and everything else. And these cars they do drive for a long time. For as long as again you service the car, you maintain it, regular service intervals, you follow them, and then you should be okay. The only issue with the A3s is of course sometimes the gearbox on these vehicles and the Megatrons. Sorry.
What do you mean sometimes? You mean all the time?
You see what they do.
I was waiting. I let Adam, Adam have that.
He said it's got an extended warranty, but we don't know how
What
far.
I'm saying
Yeah.
for the long term.
Is it extended for a year or is it extended for 5 years?
So we don't know how long is it extended for. But again, when it comes to maintaining these Audis, if you maintain the Audi, it can last you for a very long time. But of course, if you're gonna start, doing all the funnies with the car and not service it and drive recklessly, of course the car is not gonna last.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're gonna say no, the car will last you 7 years, no problem. We don't know.
Do you agree with that, Sean?
Just maintain the vehicle.
Look, I think it's a double-sided coin. So if you look after the loss forever, but I do know typically with German cars, but specifically with Audis, the moment it hits at 100,000 kilometer mark, you're sitting on a bit of a ticking time bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's also sometimes a bit of an issue. If something goes wrong, do you sell a kidney or do you take a knock on the car? It's one of those conversations.
So my look at this is the Audi A3 is lovely cars to drive, but that can be hellish expensive to maintain. He mentioned that he has an extended warranty. I don't know how long that extended warranty is. If you're going to keep the car for another 5 to 7 years, you maybe want to try and extend that warranty for 5 to 7 years.
Correct.
Because, it's great to say, keep it maintained, but what is the cost to maintain that? When you've got to replace a water pump and it's 5,000-6,000 rand, and you've got the gearbox fails and it's 65,000 rand. You can keep a car going, but at what expense? So,
But with an extended warranty,
but what is his extended warranty?
and exactly what is his extended warranty, and what's covered, and to what amount is it covered?
So he said extended warranty and service plan. So I'm thinking here, because I know Audi was on a good
Audi,
run
yes.
to extend, to bring the maintenance plan, or what called freeway plan, cheaper for longer. So he might, if he likes his car, he wants to keep it, as you said, he might have to extend it again, of which you can. You can even extend it to up to 300,000 kilometers or 7 years.
But that's like buying another car, right?
No, as I said, I must be honest, when it comes to price, I've checked their pricing on those.
Is it good?
No, it's really, really good. I mean, you can take a 2-year, let's say you want to extend the plan from 5 years to 7 years, 150,000 Ks, you'll pay less than 28,000 rand.
At which point, though, Temminko?
Maintenance plan, sorry?
Which point of ownership of the car can you extend? Do you extend it immediately you buy the car?
No, you can.
Anytime.
You must extend it before the current plan expires.
Yeah.
So now, let's say you extended the freeway plan on that car.
28,000 rand for 2 years or a specific amount is actually very cheap.
Yeah, it's very, very cheap. And I've tested their pricing with
It's
other
good
brands.
value, let me put it
Very,
that way.
very good value.
Nothing's cheap.
And then let's say you extend it now, you want to extend again, you can still do it for as long as the current one
It's still in
is
place.
still intact.
Okay, so there's some really good advice there for that. So I would certainly recommend check your warranty, when does it expire, and see if you can get an extended freeway plan from Audi. And just like that, we've come to the end of another episode. Shane, Temminko, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day and joining us here in the studio with all your helpful advice.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Until next time, remember to keep left, pass right, and please keep it safe on the roads.